Welcome back, everyone, to The Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into something, well, truly universal, the human experience itself. We've gathered an incredible collection of insights. For you, it's like a rich tapestry woven from thoughts, quotes, observations on life's journey. Think of it as maybe a shortcut to some profound understanding. We're pulling wisdom from ancient philosophers right through to modern artists, covering everything, really, happiness, success, love, fear, just the very essence of what it means to be human. So our mission today is to unpack these powerful ideas, maybe find some common threads, and uncover, surprising perspectives to help you navigate your own path.
And it's a journey we all share, isn't it? It's not just about, collecting wise sayings. This is more an exploration into those fundamental questions we all kind of wrestle with. How do we live a meaningful life, a fulfilling life? What truly matters when all's said and done? We'll be trying to draw out the why it matters behind these powerful statements, helping you see not just what was said, but maybe the timeless truth they reveal for your own life.
Okay, so let's unpack a central idea, one that just keeps popping up in our sources. It's the incredible power of your own mind, your perspective in shaping your reality. It feels pretty foundational. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, gives us a powerful place to start. He says, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. He's pointing right at our inner landscape, isn't he?
Yeah.
As the main source of contentment.
Exactly. And what's so powerful about that, and you hear it echoed by Norman Vincent Peale with Change Your Thoughts and You Change Your World, is this emphasis on an internal locus of control. It's not just knowing sort of intellectually that happiness comes from within. It's about intentionally directing our thoughts. These aren't just passive observations. They feel like calls to action for your inner world.
Right, calls to action. And Carlos Castaneda takes it maybe even a step further. He gives us this stark choice. The trick is in what one emphasizes. We either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves happy. The amount of work is the same.
That's incredibly provocative, isn't it?
It really is.
It suggests we spend the same energy whether we choose joy or despair.
Yeah, and for me that's incredibly challenging because it just directly questions that narrative we often hear, that our external world is solely to blame for how we feel inside. It forces us, really, to look at our own contribution, to our mental landscape. Abraham Lincoln, in his profound simplicity, he apparently said this multiple times, most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. It truly seems to boil down to choice. So what stands out to you about that, about taking responsibility for your mental landscape? How much of your current outlook maybe is truly a reflection of circumstances and how much is, a decision?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what resonates with me is how these voices, across centuries, they all seem to land on the same truth. It sounds so simple on the surface, yet actually practicing it day in, day out, that can feel profoundly difficult. It's bridging that gap, I think, between knowing it intellectually and actually living it. Now, here's an interesting turn, because our sources don't just talk about thinking. They really push us towards action, towards perseverance, towards learning through the journey itself. It's not enough to just think about being happy. Often you've got to do something. Wayne Gretzky famously said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
That's such a powerful call to just, step up to the plate.
And that ties in beautifully with Amelia Earhart's insight, doesn't it? The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. So it's not just the courage to begin,
Right.
but the grit, the sheer determination to keep going, this consistent call to agency. It tells us our identity is sort of forged through our actions. It's in the striving, the repeated effort, the willingness to face obstacles head on. That's where we truly define ourselves.
And what about when things don't go to plan? Which, let's face it, happens all the time.
Yeah.
Winston Churchill, a man who knew a thing or two about enduring challenges, he states, success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. He also adds, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So this isn't about avoiding mistakes at all costs.
No.
It's about how we respond to them.
It's such a powerful reframing of failure, isn't it? It stops being this dead end and becomes more like a stepping stone, a lesson, which suggests that maybe comfort, staying in our comfort zone, can actually be an enemy of growth. Frederick Douglass reinforces this when he declares, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. The path to growth, it seems, isn't paved with ease. It's paved with consistent effort, learning from setbacks, and that tenacity to follow through.
So, we've got internal control, we've got action. What does all this mean for finding happiness? and for understanding love in our lives. Our sources offer this, well, a beautiful mosaic of insights here, too. On happiness, Ralph Waldo Emerson gives us a pretty stark warning. For every minute you are angry, you lose 60 seconds of happiness.
Almost like a direct calculation, isn't it? The cost of negative emotion.
It really is a powerful reminder of how quickly time and joy can just slip away because of our internal state. And Dennis Waitley adds this crucial layer, saying, happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude.
Yeah.
It suggests happiness isn't some external thing you acquire like a possession.
Right.
It's something you cultivate inside, right here, right now, in the present moment.
And William Feather observes that plenty of people miss their share of happiness, not because they never found it, but because they didn't stop to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's about presence, isn't it? Really being there.
About pausing in our constant pursuit of happiness and just, well, being happy, like Guillaume Apollinaire suggests.
Exactly. This whole compilation, it just beautifully illustrates that happiness isn't really a destination you arrive at. It's more a state of mind, an attitude, something cultivated through gratitude, through presence, through genuine connection. It feels like an internal practice much more than an external achievement.
And then there's love. Dr. Seuss, in his unique style, says, we find someone whose weirdness is compatible with ours. We join up with them and fall in mutual weirdness and call it love. Yeah. It's just a charming, really relatable take on connection.
It is, isn't it? A wonderful humanizing perspective. And Robert Heinlein offers a more, perhaps, foundational idea. Love is that condition in which the happiness of another person is essential to your own. That really emphasizes the reciprocal nature, maybe even the self-sacrificing aspect of deep human connection, where giving is often its greatest expression.
And Bruce Lee speaks of love maturing over time. He says, love is like a friendship caught on fire. As love grows older, our hearts mature, and our love becomes as coals, deep burning and unquenchable.
That's a beautiful image of progression, isn't it? From that initial passion to enduring warmth.
These insights taken together, they portray love not just as a fleeting emotion, but as this dynamic process. It's about discovery, commitment, growth, seeing ourselves and others, accepting their quirks, their weirdness, as Seuss puts it, and finding that deep, lasting refreshment in shared happiness.
What's also truly captivating in these sources is the call to embrace our unique selves, to cultivate courage in a world that, let's be honest, often pressures us to conform. Alice Walker repeats a powerful truth, apparently multiple times in the source. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. That's just a stark reminder, isn't it, of our own internal strength and agency. It really is. And Helen Keller gives us this profound perspective on life that aligns right with it. Security is mostly a superstition. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Wow. That truly challenges us to step outside our comfort zones, doesn't it?
Definitely.
To embrace who we are rather than always seeking safety and, fitting in.
And Rupi Kaur offers such a powerful message about self-worth, especially, she notes, for women. What's the greatest lesson a woman should learn? That since day one, she's already had everything she needs within herself. It's the world that convinced her she did not. That speaks to something universal, though, doesn't it? About how external pressures can chip away at our inherent sense of self-worth.
Absolutely. This whole section, it powerfully highlights the importance of self-acceptance and the courage it takes to live authentically. It challenges you, the listener, to question those external narratives, those fears. It emphasizes that our uniqueness isn't some flaw to be hidden. It's a profound strength. It prompts us to consider the courage needed to stand by our convictions, which raises an important question, I think. In this world with so much information, so many voices telling us who to be, how do we figure out whose voice to listen to, especially our own?
That's a huge question. And beyond personal growth, our sources also offer some really sharp observations on society, relationships, even the nature of reality itself. Socrates, for instance, famously said, the unexamined life is not worth living. That's a timeless call to constant self-reflection.
And that ties into a fascinating idea presented in some of the sources about self-perception. There's one quote, I think it was Cooley, "Today I am not what I think I am. I am not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am." Yeah, it really highlights how much our sense of self might be a social construct, influenced by how we think others see us, rather than some fixed internal truth.
That's a total mind bender.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how much of our identity is truly ours. And on a maybe more practical note, Lou Holtz reminds us, it's not the load that breaks you down, it's the way you carry it.
Yeah.
That just shifts the focus, doesn't it? away from the external burden and onto our internal resilience, our strategy.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about our capacity to manage adversity. And speaking of capacity, one source directly states, capacity is state of mind, which aligns perfectly with what we were saying earlier about the power of perspective.
Right.
Our limitations are so often self-imposed, aren't they? Products of our mental state rather than, like, unchangeable facts.
These insights really push us to question common assumptions. For example, one source gives this list of things money can't truly buy.
Yeah.
A home, you can buy a house, but not that feeling of home. Time, you can buy a clock, but not more moments. Sleep, a bed, yes, but not rest itself. Health, you can see a doctor, but wellness is different. Safety insurance, maybe, but not true security.
That list is such a powerful counterpoint to our often consumer-driven society, isn't it?
Yeah.
It highlights how superficial some desires can be, reminds us of the intangible yet profoundly valuable parts of life, makes you reconsider what true wealth really means. And tying into that, G.K. Chesterton offers 2 ways to find enough. He says, one is to continue to accumulate more and more. The other is to desire less. It's simple, but a pretty profound choice.
And finally, there's this compelling observation that challenges how we view societal progress. It goes something like, tough times create strong men create easy time create weak men create tough times. It's a cyclical view of history, suggesting this constant ebb and flow between challenge and comfort.
This last collection, it truly demonstrates the sheer breadth of human thought. From these deeply personal reflections on morality and self-awareness, all the way to challenging societal trends and structures. It encourages you to not just accept things at face value, whether it's the price of a cheeseburger or, some complex financial theory mentioned in the source material about government spending and taxes. We're not taking sides, just noting the source questions these things.
Right, just reporting what's there.
Exactly. The point is to contemplate the underlying realities, the implications, which raises, I think, a final important question. How much of what we experience as reality is actually a construct, shaped by our perceptions and societal narratives, and how much is, fundamental truth?
Wow. What an incredible deep dive into the human experience. We've journeyed through the power of our minds, the absolute necessity of action, the many, many faces of happiness and love, and the courage it takes to live authentically. These sources, from the really profound to the, quite provocative, offer so much to ponder and apply to our daily lives.
It's clear, isn't it, that these diverse voices spanning centuries, cultures, they point towards a common wisdom, that so much of our life's fulfillment really is an inside job. It's shaped by our choices, our resilience, our willingness to engage deeply with the world around us. There's this consistent message that our inner state and our actions are the primary drivers of our experience.
So, thinking about all this, what's your takeaway from this whole mosaic of wisdom? And considering that powerful, slightly ironic idea that life has to be lived forward, but it only makes sense in reverse, how do you reconcile that need for decisive action now, in the present moment, with the understanding that real clarity often only comes later, with hindsight? What seeds will you plant today, knowing that the full meaning of your harvest might only be revealed much, much later?